Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 252 podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Young, coming to you from the Northeast North Carolina in a nice little patch of awesome called Elizabeth City. Now, what's going on today in this podcast is a follow-up podcast. I've been asked to return to the topic, the 73% pay increase by our local city council of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and discuss that issue again. Let's begin. Now, to conserve time, I'm going to do a really quick recap on what happened in the last video that I did. Okay, I'm going to do a real quick recap for people who may not have seen the last video or don't really know what's going on that's tuning in. All right, so March 23rd in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, the City Council of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, voted for a 73% increase in their salaries as city councilors, mayor included, during a state of emergency pandemic, the coronavirus outbreak. During that time, they decided to vote themselves a 73% increase in pay. That happened. That's a fact. Okay? So that happened. It was voted on by 4 councilors: Darius Horton, Gabriel Atkins, Michael Brooks, and Johnny Walton. Those are facts. Now, there was a motion done by Johnny Walton to table this issue so that it is not to prohibit any reconsideration of this issue for the next 6 months. So you can't speak about it. Other councilors can't bring it up in a city council meeting for the next 6 months. That happened on the 23rd of March, 2020, during, I would say, the peak of this whole coronavirus pandemic, and everybody was really unsure then, didn't know what to expect. Schools were closing, didn't know how long they were going to stay closed. Business were closing, didn't know what was going on. Really unsure times. Very unsure, even more unsure than they are now. And guess what? We're still in it now. There's still businesses closed. There's still small businesses that are deemed non-essential that don't know if they're going to be able to pay their bills. That's still happening now. So that happened then. All of that's facts. All that is a fact. So that was a recap. Moving on, to save time, moving on to where we are now. Right now, that 73% increase is still alive and well in our city budget. It's still alive and well. It's still in there. No councilor on the city council has tried to rip that thing out. No one. No one. Okay? No one from any ward. Nobody has tried to remove that. Probably partially from this issue with the tabling it for 6 months, where it was motioned to prohibit any reconsideration for 6 months. That was March. That puts it at September before they could ever speak of this again in a council meeting. So that may be the issue. I can only speculate. That's not a fact. But I do know the fact is that it was motioned and voted on and passed that it would be tabled for 6 months. Can't speak about it. That happened, and that is a fact. Now, speaking of facts, I'm going to go ahead and say this. The 252 podcast only speaks about facts when it does speak about things like this. We're only about facts. It's not about, we're not out here to talk about attack somebody personally. We're talking about facts, a issue. It's not about a personal thing. I'm not here to incite anger. Okay? It has nothing to do with that. It's about talking about an issue, not a person. It's about a topic or an issue. And the podcast there's a reason it's called 252 Podcast. It's issues and events and stories and information and education about the 252 area. The Northeast North Carolina, the 252 area. Inner Banks, Outer Banks, our area. This is an issue. I've been receiving requests from multiple people from all over in Elizabeth City with this issue, from every ward, every race, every gender. Want to know a follow-up on this issue. So where we're at now is that it's still there, it's still alive, it's still pumping, it's still in there. No one's tried to remove it. So when it comes to facts, I don't know what counselors are going to do, and there's no information that I can go gather to tell me what someone's intent is. Okay? I can't tell you what an intent that a city councilor has when it comes to how they're going to vote or when they're going to remove this. So what I can do is I can go find information. And the thing about information, especially when you deal with public officials or anything public, there is a lot of information that is public knowledge that we are privileged to. Everyone's privileged to. You got to remember that 73% increase, the money that's going to fund that 73% increase isn't from a state fund. Okay, it isn't from some state grant or federal grant. It's from your pocket, my pocket. It's our money. It's our money. So the information about it, we are privileged to. And by tabling this thing for 6 months and not allowing the other counselors to speak about it, it's not only silencing the other counselors that are opposed to this, that voted no for this. By silencing them, you're in effect silencing the people who want their representative they voted for to speak about and speak against this issue. So I went and did my homework. I went and looked for facts to see another angle on the situation. So before I get to what I have here, I want to talk about everyone on the council, because I think it's only fair. And I looked at who has been who has been speaking out about this. You know, a lot of people have come forward. There's been letters to the editor about, concerned citizens trying to have a voice about this. They don't want the raise. They don't want the 73% increase. So I looked, and I've seen a lot of people talking about Madam Mayor Betty Parker. So first, I want to start from here and want to say this. I have the utmost respect for Madam Mayor Betty Parker. What she's done for women and African American women by becoming the first woman mayor of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, a royal southern town in North Carolina, has paved the way for, open the door for genders and equality to really push for that position. She's done such a great thing there. She was a county commissioner. She served in that aspect. She was a teacher in our school system. She has given back in more ways than I can think of. And like I said, I respect her as a person. I respect her and what she's done. She's done a wonderful thing for our area. And she is so courageous. She has been the only one that has spoke out and had the courage to stand up to some of this negativity that has, this storm that's come from this raise issue, from the 73% raise issue that's come about. She's been the only one. The 4 that have voted yes have said nothing. No press release, no nothing. Madam Mayor has spoke out. She has been chastised at city council meetings by concerned citizens. She has spoke out about her feelings and her position when the city did a press release via YouTube about the coronavirus outbreak. She spoke out then in her position. And her position has always been she does not have a vote. She is the mayor. Her councilors have the vote on the raise. And that she is there and she supports her councilors to make any vote that they feel that they need to make. She's not worried about a raise in these hard times. She's worried about getting people through these hard times. And that she hopes that the councilors can find middle ground and can work together to come together with a good outcome on this. She stood fast with that. She's really dug in on that position. That she doesn't have a vote on this. She doesn't care about a raise. And she said that multiple times. And due to time, I'm just paraphrasing her, these are the stance that she has taken. So, saying that, again, this is what she's done. The other 4 that have said yes have said nothing, other than a couple comments on Facebook that I will not even bring up. They've spoken out. They have not spoken out at all. She's had the courage to speak out and stand her ground and say what she feels. That's her stance. She doesn't have a vote, and that it's up to the councilors to vote on this, and she supports them to vote in any way they see fit. Well, I started to think, well, how did this thing get into our budget to begin with? How did the 73% pay raise just come about, especially at this time? So, I could do some digging, and I find this. Now, we already know that there's 4 people that support this thing, and that's the 4 councilors that voted yes. These are facts. Gabriel Atkins, Darius Horton, Michael Brooks, and Johnny Walton. Those are the 4. Well, after I read this document to you, you're going to see that there's a 5th person that also supports this. There's a 5th. Now, this document is a city council finance committee. The date of these minutes are March 5th, 2020. So this is right before everything started with the coronavirus. This is right before everything really got real for our area. Before business shut down, before it really, really hit home for us, before the wave got here and we really knew, man, this is real. This is really happening. We need to shut down, quarantine, close school. This is before everything hit our area. Now, this is a committee. When you have a committee, you have a chairman of that committee. The chairman of this finance committee is Mayor Pro Tem Johnny Walton. Everybody in the city council is a member of this committee. Everyone other than the chairman, everybody is a voting member. Means whatever they talk about and they want to pass, they vote. They get a vote. So I'm going to read to you who the members are. That's including the mayor. It's also a member. I'm going to read to you who was present during this finance committee meeting and who was absent. Then I'm going to read to you what they discussed. Okay? So, members present. Mayor Pro Tem Johnny Walton, Chairman. Mayor Betty Parker. Councilman Michael Brooks. Councilwoman Jeannie Young. Councilman Chris Rufio. Councilman Darius Horton. Councilman Gabriel Atkins. Members absent: Councilman Kim Spence, Councilman Billy Cottle. Okay, so those were the people that were there and were absent. They discussed an array of things, but due to time, I'm going to read you pertinent information for this video. Discussion 8 of these minutes. Discussion of City Council compensation. Now remember, this was March 5th, 2020. City Manager Olson presented the council with comparison sheets for salaries of similar sized cities, explaining that they were some of the most well-paid councilors for an area of our volume. Mayor Parker said that while that may be true, a lot of work went into being a councilor, and she believed a raise was in order. Councilman Horton said he thought $500 a month per councilor would be fair, if not an amount up to $1,000. Mayor Parker responded that she thought even $1,000 per month would be agreeable. She noted that she was constantly received phone calls and requests for her presence, and she was sure that many other of the other councilors experienced as well. City Manager Olson stated that he did not believe the councilor's budget could be changed except during adoption of a budget, and said he would direct the city clerk to contact the School of Government for an opinion and guidance. He noted that since it was such a tight year for revenue-wise, it might be upsetting to the staff that they would be foregoing a raise even in the form of a 1% COLA. COLA is an abbreviation for cost of living allowance. While the council was electing to give themselves a 75% increase, he noted that would bring their salaries far above the highest paid councilors for cities of our size. Foregoing is another word for saying not getting a raise. So the city staff would not be getting a raise of 1% for the cost of living going up. Just thought I'd point that out there. After that being said, that's the discussion. In bold, here on the minutes, in bold is the action. Motion was made by Councilman Darius Horton, second by Councilman Gabriel Atkins, to forward this item forward to the full council with the inclusion of a $500 per month raise for each member of the council, effective immediately. Those voting in favor of the motion were Brooks, Walton, Parker, Horton, and Adkins. Against was Young and Rufio. The motion was carried. End of story. It went in. Then the next city council meeting was March the 23rd, and that's when we saw it be voted in front of our eyes. So, when the Madam Mayor, Betty Parker, says she didn't have a vote, she voted right here. Those voting in favor for the motion were Brooks, Walton, Parker, Horton, and Adkins. There's the vote, Madam Mayor. There's your vote. She believed a raise was in order. She thought even 1,000 per month would be agreeable. Not my words. These are the facts, written down and housed at the city of Elizabeth City. This is not personal. This is an issue. And your city is screaming that they don't want this 73% raise. And you and the council will not give them an outlet to speak. And that's a fact. Again, she believed a raise was in order. She thought even 1,000 per month would be agreeable. Those voting in favor for the motion were Brooks, Walton, Parker, Horton, and Adkins. Motion carried. Now, again, those were the facts. The fifth supporter of the raise is in fact our mayor, Madam Mayor Betty Parker. It's right here on March 5th, 2020, was voted at the Finance Committee right here in black and white ink. 5 supporters of the raise, 73% pay increase right there. If it becomes a split decision between 4 and 4, as it sits now, going off this information, the mayor would side with the 4 supporters of the raise that we knew before. Those are just facts. Now, can opinions change? Yes. They sure can. They sure can. I would hope that you would listen to some of your supporters and maybe change your opinion. Because there's no outlet for them because of the tabling of this issue for 6 months, which would well surpass any type of outlet for them, because if you do a budget public hearing on the budget, what's going to happen? By the time it gets there, you guys have already done your budget, right? I know how this thing works. So, I did a poll. On my Facebook, there's a link to a poll that I shared on Breaking News Facebook page, because they have over 8,000 members there. And it's members that are here in our area. And I did a poll. It simply states, should Elizabeth City Council receive a 73% pay increase? Yes or no? Let your voice be heard. Last time I checked, there was over 800 no's and 3 yeses. I think that if any counselors at all are listening to this and see this video, I think that alone is worthy of putting the brakes on this pay increase. and opening up a dialogue with the people. That right there alone. Because nobody said anything to us, the people, about this 73% increase. And that's a fact. Now, there's a couple opportunities for you guys to yank this thing out the budget. May 18th is a budget meeting. You could yank it out then. May 26th is a council meeting, and you can yank it out then. There's 2 times where you guys can make a change. And you can show that you listen to the people of Elizabeth City and you put us first. There's your opportunity. Well, guys, I'm not going to hold you hostage here. Just want to get that out. And if you like this document, please contact me. I have no problem emailing you this document so that you can see it for yourself. I also will put all the information I can on how I got this document, or how you can go and see any of the council meetings that have been streamed live. They're done by a group called, Practical Computing on Venmo. You can watch every single council meeting. You can even watch county commissioner meetings through them. They're right there on the City of Elizabeth City website. Also, anything that you need when it comes to like minutes from council meetings, you can request through the City of Elizabeth City website. And, all this stuff is public information. Public information. Why? Because they work for the public. Again, this is not a personal attack. This is just an issue that needs to be discussed. Well, that's the show. You guys can reach me on my various platforms, Facebook, YouTube. It'll all be in the information. Can't even think right now after going through this information. Description below. Description box. Okay, I can't even think after reading this stuff. But anyway, so you can find on the description box everything, how to reach me, YouTube, Facebook, my cell phone, my email. The email is 252podcastnenc@gmail.com. Email me. I will send you this document if you wish. And you've been listening to the 252 podcast. Until we meet again, I've been your host, Stephen Young. Over and out.